Welcome back to All This Math. This is Professor Parker. If you're here, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button. If I say anything or attempt to explain anything that's not quite clear to you, please put your question in the comments so I can know. And I might even make a follow-up video based on your specific question. All right. Also, please, when we're done, share this video with at least one other person. All right. I do want to give a shout out to the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense. That's what this t-shirt is about. And when we look on our circle, we look at our points, H, P, and N. I was trying to be intentional. That's for Huey P. Newton. Huey P. Newton, one of the founders, along with Bobby Seale and others, of the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, founded, I believe, in October of 1966 in Oakland, California. The Black Panther Party for Self-Defense that we know of. All right. So now, what's our lesson for today? Our lesson for today deals with inscribed angles. Now, first of all, what is an inscribed angle? An inscribed angle is an angle that has its vertex. What's a vertex? The vertex is the point where two line segments meet or converge to form an angle. So you see this space in between this segment and this segment is an angle. And the point where this segment and this segment meet is at point P. Point P is the vertex. Point P is the vertex. So an inscribed angle is an angle that has its vertex on the circumference of the circle, right? So the circumference of the circle is basically the outer ring of the actual circle, not the space inside, but the vertex is actually on the circle or on the circumference of the circle. That's what an inscribed angle is. Now, if you understand what an inscribed angle is, inscribed angles and the arc that they subtend, right? I'm going to explain that in a minute too, have a special relationship. So this is the angle, right? We call this angle P, right? Because its vertex is P. So we call that angle P. Now look at these segments that create this angle. Look what they're doing. They extend up here to point H, and this one over here extends to point N. Now the arc that's created is between point H and point N, right? Because the arc, if you imagine like a circular pizza, right? A circular pizza pie, the arc is like the crust, right? The arc is the crust of the pizza. Now, the arc measurement, not the arc length, not the arc length. The arc length is a portion of the circumference of the whole circle, but the arc measurement is a portion of the total 360 degrees that represents the whole circle. So this arc has an arc measurement, and make sure we don't confuse arc length with arc measurement. Arc measurement is in degrees, arc length is in, it could be in centimeters, inches, feet, yards, miles, kilometers, whatever. But arc measurement is in angles. All right. Now, the relationship between the inscribed angle and its arc that it subtends. Subtends means that it's underneath of it, right? Notice how this angle is underneath of this arc, right? So we can think of it that way. That's not the most precise definition, but that's good enough for right now. This is the angle. This is the arc. Arc HN is the arc that is subtended by this angle. This angle is always going to be half of the measurement of the arc. That's important information for you to know, write down, and memorize. The angle, an inscribed angle, is always going to have a measurement that's equal to half of its subtended arc. Always. That's always going to be the case. So if this is 94 degrees, this arc HN, and this is its inscribed angle, then the measure of this angle is going to be half of 94. So now, what is our goal? Our goal is to solve for x. This expression has x in it. So what we need to do is create an equation. In order to solve for x, we need to create an equation, and then we need to solve that equation for x. So based on the information I just told you about the relationship between an inscribed angle and the arc that it subtends, now we can take that information and then create an equation. And then now we're not even doing, and then at that point, we're not even really doing geometry no more. Now we're back in algebra 1. All right. So let's do that. Let's first set it up like this. Let's say angle P is equal to 1/2 of, in math language, the word of indicates multiplication, 1/2 of arc HN. That's the arc symbol, that right there. See, I told you, pizza crust. All right, so angle P is equal to 1/2 of arc HN. All right, like Huey Newton or Huey P. Newton. All right. So now we're going to replace these angles, right? Or replace this angle and this arc with actual numbers or expressions. Now, angle P, we know, we don't know the numerical measurement of it, but we know that it's equal to this expression right here. So we can replace angle P with 9x minus 25. Bring down the equal sign, right? Because that's angle P right there. And this arrow says 9x minus 25 is that. So in my equation, I can replace angle P with that. And why am I doing that? Because I need to solve for x. And in order to solve for x, we need to create an equation. Now, keep the 1/2 times what? The measure of arc HN. The measure of arc HN is 94 degrees. So we replace arc HN with 94 degrees. All right, so now we got 9x minus 25 is equal to 1/2 times 94. Now we're just doing straight algebra. Now we're straight algebra. That's when this is when the fun begins. When the fun begins. All right, so what I would do on the right-hand side, and there's a lot of options in terms of what you could do first, but what I would do the 1/2 times 94 first. All right, 1/2 times 94. Now I know that 1/2 times 90, if I break 94 up or decompose it into 90 and 4, because 90 plus 4 equals 94, half of 90 is 45, half of 4 is 2. Put the 45 with the 2, add them up, you get 47. Therefore, half of 94 is 47. So that's going to be 47. We simplifying. Bring this down. Now you got 9x minus 25. I'm trying to isolate the x on the left-hand side. So I need to get rid of two things. This 9 and this negative 25. This 9 got to go, this negative 25 got to go. Which one goes first? It don't really matter technically. However, in all my years of experience with solving equations, if you get rid of the coefficient first, usually it's going to make the problem real messy. And we don't want that. So what I like to do is get rid of the constant first. This negative 25 is a constant. I like to get rid of the constant first. How do we get rid of it? By doing the opposite operation from what that number is involved in. That number is involved in subtraction. This is minus 25. What is the opposite of subtracting 25? Adding 25. So therefore, we're going to add 25 to get this to become a 0, meaning it's gone. And then also, we're going to keep things balanced. We're also going to add 25 on the right-hand side. Boom. Bring the 9x down. We got 9x. Bring the equal sign down. Now, we got to know our addition facts. We got to know how to add, right? We shouldn't need a calculator for this. We shouldn't, right? You might use a calculator for this, but you shouldn't need it, right? 47 plus 25, 40 plus 20 is a lot of ways to add that up. But 40 plus 20 is 60, 7 plus 5 is 12, 60 plus 12 is 72. So 9x equals 72. Now I'm trying to get rid of this 9. How do I do it? I do the opposite operation. 9x means 9 times x. So that 9 is involved in multiplication. That 9 is involved in multiplication. What's the opposite of multiplying? You got to know that. It's division, dividing. So in order to get rid of the 9, we're going to divide by 9. And these 9s are going to turn into a 1 because 9 divided by 9 equals 1. So then you have 1x. What is 1x? 1x means 1 times x. That's what 1x means. But again, in the language of math, we don't need to write 1 as a coefficient. If 1 is your coefficient, you don't got to write it. Just write the variable. Just write x. Because 1x and x mean the same thing. All right. And we want our expressions to be simple. We want things to be simplified as much as possible. So you just got x. Now, got to keep it balanced. Divide by 9 on the right side. We divided by 9 on the left side. Divide by 9 on the right side. What's 72 divided by 9? You got to know your division facts. If you know that 9 times 8 equals 72, because you know your multiplication facts, then you also know that 72 divided by 9 equals 8. So we have x is equal to 8. And that is our answer. And we got this answer from using the rules of geometry involving inscribed angles and the arcs that they subtend, right? So we got Huey P. Newton right there, right? This is the inscribed angle with a measure of 9x minus 25. And then this is our arc that it subtends, which had a measurement of 94 degrees. So you just apply the rules. Just apply the rules. See, geometry is about understanding the theories and the postulates and the laws and whatnot, taking those theories and then using it, applying them to diagrams, circles, triangles, different shapes and whatnot, and then being able to create an equation and then solving for the missing variable. That's why you took algebra 1 before you took geometry. Well, some of y'all might be taking algebra 1 and geometry at the same time. That's interesting, but you know, stranger things have happened. But you really should have algebra 1 to fall back on as a foundation so that when you get to geometry, you're able to just say, okay, cool, let me try to understand these theorems, postulates, laws, and other rules so that I can then take that information and create equations. And if you know how to solve equations, you good. Like we was good. We know how to solve equations. So we had 9x minus 25 equals 1/2 times 94. Simplify on the right side, boom, get rid of the negative 25, boom, get rid of the 9, boom. We left with x equals 8. Solve for x. We just solved for x. X is 8. So 8 is the value that's going to make this a true statement, right? Because 72, because 9 times 8 is 72. But 72 take away 25? Well, 75 take away 25 will be 50. So if we take 3 away from that, that's 47. Yeah, so this will be 47. And 1/2 times 94, we already said was 47. So we good. All right. Now, like I said, hit the like button. All right. Make sure you hit the like button. You know, you might have started watching this video later. You might not have heard my announcement in the beginning. So yeah, hit the like button if you didn't already. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Share this video with at least one other person. Somebody taking geometry, or somebody that's gonna take geometry. Somebody like to get ahead, even if they're not taking geometry. Share this video with them so they can learn about inscribed angles. All right. Also, if you got any questions about anything I did up here, please put your question in the comments. If you got a comment about anything, you got a recommendation, whatever, throw it in the comments. All right. I do read comments. All right. So on that note, I'm out. See you on the next video. Peace.